Welcome to the Fantasy Addiction Network. Today we are talking Week 15 recap of the Seahawks versus Panthers. Final score, Seattle 30, Carolina 24. This one, the final score definitely shows that it was a lot closer than it really was. The Panthers kind of crept back into this game, and Seattle let them hang out way longer than they should have. But really, this was just a game that Seattle dominated from start to finish, and definitely showed their dominance in this one. Carolina's not a very good team. We expected Seattle to win this one, and it ended up being pretty much as we expected. So we'll get into the fantasy implications of this game. Russell Wilson rebounding after a poor performance last week. He went 20 of 26 for 286 yards, had a couple nice deep bombs, one to Josh Gordon, another one to Tyler Lockett. Pretty clean, didn't really make too many mistakes. 2 touchdowns on this one, but -1 yards on the ground, so didn't really help you there. Decent game. There weren't too many blow-up games from the quarterbacks this week, so if you started Russell Wilson, he was right around that big pack of quarterbacks that didn't overperform but also didn't dudge you either. So if you started him, you're happy. Our start of the week, Chris Carson absolutely smashed this one. He basically willed the Seahawks to victory with his second touchdown, and then on the last drive, he just kept grinding out for first downs for the Seahawks. He went 24 carries for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Also was 1 for 2 for 4 yards. He left the game briefly in the first drive, gave his owners a little bit of panic, and then he came back and just absolutely destroyed. The second touchdown was a thing of beauty. It was a 4th down in the red zone, and he just, instead of just taking the first down for the 1 yard, he just kept fighting and got into the end zone. It was glorious. Looking at the receivers, they told us before the game started that Tyler Lockett was fully healthy, and anyone that believed him was rewarded. He went 8 for 9 for 120 yards and 1 touchdown. On the touchdown that he got, he was wide open. I don't even know who was trying to cover him, but he just slipped right into the end zone and nobody noticed. I also had a couple of nice deep balls in this one. Just looked like Tyler Lockett again, so that's really reassuring. If you still have him going forward, I think you can trust him in the final game. DK Metcalf, a little bit less than what you wanted in this game. Only 2 for 4, 36 yards, but he did get a really nice touchdown. Not really anyone else to speak of. Josh Gordon had 1 catch on this game, but it was for a 58-yard bomb, which was really nice. But then they did a little trick play where Josh Gordon ended up throwing a pass and just threw it right to the defender. Got an interception, so that's not good. No one really else to care about there. Jacob Hollister for the tight ends was only 3 for 3, 23 yards. Panthers had been pretty good against tight ends all year, so that one doesn't really surprise you. Looking at Carolina's side of the ball, man, Kyle Allen, definitely room for improvement, and he's shown some signs of life, but with reports a couple weeks ago that the Panthers were looking to possibly trade Cam Newton in the offseason, they might want to rethink that. He went 25 for 41 in this one, 277 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, and then 5 carries for 25 yards. He had 2 interceptions basically on back-to-back throws. For most of the first 3 quarters, the only thing that was doing anything in this game was Christian McCaffrey getting the ball. Towards the end of the game, the Panthers finally started getting going. Kyle Allen had a few good throws, and the touchdown he threw to Curtis Samuel, which was a play after he completely overthrew Curtis Samuel in the end zone. It was a nice little play where he faked out the defender to get Curtis Samuel wide open. It was pretty nice, but other than that, Kyle Allen just disappointing again. Who's not disappointing is Christian McCaffrey. Oh my Lanta, this guy. 19 carries, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, and then 8 receptions on 10 targets for 88 yards. Goodness, I don't even know what to say anymore. He's the first Panther to get over 2,000 yards on scrimmage, and he's still on par to be the number 1 fantasy running back in the history of fantasy football. He's the GOAT. Let's just move on. There's not much more to say. On the receivers, DJ Moore ended up salvaging his game, got quite a few receptions in those last couple drives where the Panthers got 14 points near the end of the game. No touchdowns for you in this one, but he had 1 carry for 10 yards, and he was 8 for 12 for 113 yards, so you'll take that. Pretty decent day in PPR. Curtis Samuel bailed you out with a touchdown towards the end of the game. He had 4 carries for 23 yards, 5 receptions on 8 targets for 31 yards. Chris Hogan was back, got you 1 catch. I don't think anyone started him. Darius Wright, 1 catch. Nobody started him. Ian Thomas was a huge disappointment in this game coming into this one. Seattle was second in points allowed against the tight end position, and Ian Thomas was just not used. His first pass that was thrown his way, he just dropped it straight up, and he really wasn't used much in this game. Just disappointing all around. He played most of the snaps. He was out there for a good bit, but they just didn't target him much. So we'll monitor this one going forward. He looked like he was going to be a nice little tight end play to go the rest of the way, but now it's going to be hard to trust him going into your last game if you're able to survive his low performance. Only 2 catches on 4 targets for 23 yards. Just not what you wanted. But overall, this game went pretty much as expected. The Panthers, kept it alive in the end there, but really this was just all Seattle and nothing else. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll be continuing to post recap videos and content for all of Week 16 into the Fantasy Championship. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will see you in the next one.